Despite a last-ditch stand by the minority to derail it, the Senate, after a marathon of debates and deliberations, approved on third and final reading the Maharlika Investment Fund bill. A provision of the proposed measure was also amended before it was passed to ensure the funds of the people, like pension money of retired soldiers and government employees, will not be used as a source of capital of the MIF. Daniel Manalastas has the full report.
The version of the Senate prevailed as the House simply adopted the upper chamber's version of the proposed Maharlika Investment Fund. But before that, senators explicitly prohibited the use of pension funds such as in GSIS and SSS for the investment in the MIF. Lawmakers meanwhile clarified that the meeting earlier this morning was just a pre-BICAM and not the proper bicameral conference committee. That's why there's nothing to ratify for.
And other private funds held in trust by the government shall be absolutely prohibited to invest into the MIF.
Except SSS, GSIS, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, OWA, and PVAU, the provision shall now read, there is hereby created a Maharlika Investment Fund, a fund that adheres to the principles of good governance.
Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri appealed to the public to give Maharlika a chance, as well as the leaders under the upcoming Maharlika Investment Corporation.
Let's give the Filipino a chance to show that we are better than just being laborers, we're just better than being hired individuals. We are going to make this Maharlika Investment Fund work for the country. This Maharlika Fund is not only for this administration, it is for the next 10 administrations.
Meanwhile, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. assured that the government will not use the state pension fund as MIF seed money.
However, if a pension fund, which is what pension funds do, is they invest. If the pension fund decides that the Maharlika Fund is a good investment, it's up to them if they want to invest in it. So, like any, not only a pension fund, but corporations. Mga fund, yan lang ang ginagawa nila, pinapalaki ng pera nila para mayroon silang may bigay. Like GSIS, this is precisely what they've been doing.
Senators also assured of enough safeguards under the proposed measure.
Lahat na ng safeguards na mailagay po namin na ilagay namin. From the selection of the officers, talagang may vetting process, to the almost 2 to 3 pages of penal provisions and the punishment if there's misuse of the funds, to the reiteration of the different laws under the penal code and under the special laws creating the plunder law, the Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, and several other laws. Pwede po natin ipaglaban to sa Plaza Miranda kasi sa dami ng safeguards.
The Senate voted 19 affirmative on the proposed MIF. But before passing the bill on third reading, the minority tried to stop it by sending it back to the committee level.
I take my consolation from the thought that the Filipino people know another meaning for the letters MIF, and that is that this madness isn't forever. And before I end, Mr. President, I move that the measure under consideration, the bill attached to the committee report, be referred or recommitted to the proper committee, which is the Committee on Government Corporations and Public Enterprises.
Pimentel's motion did not win, while Senator Chis Escudero enumerated some loopholes of the measure.
Clearly, this document is already insufficient, incomplete, because it does not discuss the economic viability of investments in these infrastructure flagship programs which might not have any ROI.
Senator Mark Villar respects the view of Senator Escudero, but he insisted that the NEDA submitted the requirements for the economic viability. Villar is also confident that the MIF will withstand any attempt questioning the measure at the higher court. Daniel Manalastas for The Nation.